The Eta Aquarids Meteor Shower peaks, we see if Comet SWAN survived the sun, and our journey through the Virgo Cluster of galaxies begins. Let's take a look at what you can go out to see in the night sky for May of 2025. I'm Michael Martin, and this is Late Night Astronomy. We begin May with a major meteor shower that comes from the remnants of Halley's Comet. This is going to be best viewed from the southern hemisphere, but can also put on a show for those of us that live in the northern hemisphere as well. Most sources I'm reading have this shower peaking during the early morning hours of May 5th and May 6th before sunrise. So let's begin our journey into the night sky by going outside in the early morning of May 5th or May 6th and looking towards the east, around 2 a.m. for those of you who live in the southern hemisphere. As the constellation Aquarius continues to rise higher, more and more meteors will become visible shooting from this part of the sky. This is a more difficult shower for those of us who live in the northern hemisphere, with Aquarius not rising to a good height until after 4 a.m. The moon will be setting thankfully in the west as the meteor shower begins to rise, and won't have an impact on it at all this year, with peaks estimated to be between roughly 40 to 50 meteors per hour under dark skies for the southern hemisphere, and perhaps 10 to 20 meteors per hour a few hours before sunrise for those of us in the northern hemisphere. Let's leave the atmosphere of our planet and go just a little bit deeper into space by looking at some of the best times you can go out to view the moon this month. Let's begin with its phases, starting with the first quarter moon on May 4th, full moon on May 12th, last quarter moon on the 20th, and a new moon on the 26th. Throughout the month, the moon will make several close passes to other interesting objects in the night sky as well, beginning with Mars on May 3rd, Saturn on the 22nd, Venus on the 23rd, and Jupiter on the 28th. This month, I hope to start finishing up my Astronomical League's Lunar Evolution program by going out to observe and sketch surface details around the landing site of Apollo 12. The best night to do this is going to be on the 9th lunar day, which will fall on May 7th this month. The SkySafari app has a detailed map of the lunar surface, which will help me to find the exact location of the Apollo 12 landing site so that I can study the land features in and around that part of the moon. The impressive show of planets that we've really been spoiled by for the past 3 to 6 months is sadly starting to come to an end. But there are some opportunities for you to get out to see some of the planets, particularly if you're an early riser. Let's begin in the evening sky, however, by taking a look at the king of the planets a few more times before we lose it for a few months, Jupiter. It will be the brightest object in the western sky right after sunset, and early in the month, you'll still be able to get some nice views of it with a pair of binoculars to see its Galilean moons, or a telescope to study its surface details in beautiful cloud belts. By the middle and end of the month, however, it will be getting closer to the horizon each night, making it a difficult target. As the sky continues to darken, look west into the constellation Cancer for our next planet, Mars. Even though we continue to move away from each other, you still might be able to make out some land features in a polar ice cap, depending on the size of your telescope and the scene conditions the night you're out observing it. A nice opportunity for observing Mars and doing some astrophotography will be between the dates of May 3rd and May 5th, as Mars passes very close to one of my favorite open clusters, the Beehive. If you're able to take any pictures of Mars passing by the Beehive cluster or anything else in the night sky this month, please be sure to share those images with me over on Instagram at Late Night Astronomy. Now let's move to the early morning sky about an hour before sunrise to check out 3 more planets this month. In the east, you will find with the naked eye Venus and Saturn, with a pair of binoculars revealing Neptune sandwiched right between them as well. Venus and Neptune will make a close pass to each other on the morning of May 3rd, and Venus will be at its greatest elongation west at the end of the month around May 31st. Even though things are not looking very good for Comet SWAN, I still wanted to take a moment this month to check in on where it might be if any part of it survived its approach to the sun which is going to be at its closest point on May 1st. Even though reports are looking pretty dim for this, you're definitely going to need a telescope to see it if there's even anything to see. And it will be at its brightest and closest to Earth around May 1st for the northern and southern hemispheres. One potential opportunity to see it, if it survives in early May, would be on May 2nd as it passes near the Pleiades star cluster. Again, it's more than likely that this will end up being very little, if anything at all, to go out to see visually through a telescope, but I still wanted to cover it in case we got a pleasant surprise. Earlier this year, I began working through the Herschel 400 list of objects discovered by William and Caroline Herschel, focusing recently on galaxies. This is all a part of the Master Observer checklist that I've been working through, and it's one of the last things that I have through the Astronomical League to get that certification. This month, I want us to go out about an hour and a half after sunset and face towards the south. Looking up, you'll come across the constellation Virgo. Let's begin by putting our finder scope on the star Vendae Meatrix. This view through the finder scope is showing us about a 5-degree field of view that we're going to be using to travel through this rich field of galaxies until we come across a collection of brighter ones that look like a hook or a chain. At this point, I'm going to switch to my lowest powered eyepiece to zoom in and start doing my observations. The most impressive part of Virgo to me are several galaxies that I'll be observing and documenting this month for the Herschel 400, and they're known as Markarian's chain, a formation of 8 galaxies that lie roughly 50 to 60 million light years away from Earth. M84 and M86 are some of the brighter galaxies in this formation and were discovered by Charles Messier. One of the more interesting parts of the chain are called the Eyes galaxies. Let's move up to around 100 times magnification to view this famous pair of galaxies that resemble 2 massive galactic eyes looking back at you. Moving up the chain, we get to some less bright galaxies that will require a dark sky and larger telescope. I captured this image of Markarian's chain a few years ago, and I'm always amazed by the density of galaxies in this part of the sky. Remember that each of these galaxies hold hundreds of billions of stars, and their light has taken tens of millions of years to get to your eye in your backyard. If you've enjoyed this video, please like it and consider subscribing to this channel to join our growing community. But most importantly, let everyone know what you're hoping to get out to see this month in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for your continued support, and clear skies from Late Night Astronomy.